It's that time again. You know, when those resolution lists are like popping up
Yeah.
and we're all looking back the past year with kind of like a mix of relief and what was I thinking?
Yeah.
But before we jump into goal setting mode,
Right.
we're going to do a deep dive into something a little different.
Okay.
50 end-of-year journal prompts from Lestallion's blog.
Cool.
They're designed to help you reflect, celebrate, let go, and set intentions.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hitting the reset button on your mind and your spirit before the new year kicks in.
I like that. So these prompts, what I find fascinating about them is they go beyond just listing your accomplishments or setting kind of like vague goals.
Right.
They encourage you to really dig deep into like the why behind your experiences, which I think is really where that self-awareness comes in. That can be really transformative.
For sure. So rather than going through all 50 prompts one by one, we thought it would be more interesting to explore them thematically.
Okay.
So first up, we've got prompts that are centered around self-awareness and personal growth. What's interesting is how many of these prompts encourage us to examine our comfort zones.
Yeah. You know, there's the classic one about stepping outside your comfort zone. But there are also prompts that ask you to reflect on times you felt really proud of yourself or to identify the most significant lesson you learned this year.
Right.
It's all about recognizing that growth often comes from embracing challenges and pushing ourselves beyond what feels familiar.
Absolutely.
There's a whole body of research in psychology that supports this idea.
Oh, yeah.
Like Csikszentmihalyi's concept of flow, for instance, suggests that we experience the most fulfillment when we're engaged in activities that stretch our abilities.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a time when I was terrified to give a presentation at work. I'm naturally like such an introvert, so
Yeah.
public speaking is so far outside my comfort zone.
Oh, wow.
But I knew it was an opportunity to grow,
Yeah.
so I pushed myself to do it. And you know what? It wasn't nearly as bad as I imagined.
Wow.
In fact, it ended up being pretty empowering.
It's like building a muscle. The more you stretch it, the stronger it becomes. And this applies not only to concrete skills, but also to our emotional resilience.
Mm.
You know, when we face our fears and step outside those comfortable routines, we discover hidden strengths and we develop a greater capacity to handle whatever life throws our way.
Yeah. Speaking of challenges, let's move on to the theme of letting go of what no longer serves us.
Okay.
This can be tough emotionally, but it's so crucial for creating space for new possibilities.
Right.
There are prompts in here that encourage you to write a letter to your past self, identify a habit that you're ready to leave behind, and reflect on how you can approach the new year with a lighter heart.
Absolutely. Holding on to negativity, whether it's past hurts or limiting beliefs or unhealthy habits, it only weighs us down.
Yeah.
This theme encourages us to acknowledge those things and consciously release them. And it's not just about feeling better, it's also about making room for growth and positive change. In cognitive behavioral therapy, for instance, there's a technique called cognitive diffusion that helps people detach from unhelpful thoughts and beliefs.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that our thoughts are not facts and we don't have to be ruled by them.
Okay, but what if someone is struggling to let go of those negative thoughts? What if they keep replaying a hurtful experience over and over in their mind? Isn't that kind of easier said than done?
It certainly can be a challenge, but it's important to remember that letting go is a process. It's not a one-time event.
Right.
It might require some conscious effort and perhaps even seeking support from a therapist or counselor. But the key is to start by simply noticing those negative thoughts and patterns, rather than judging ourselves for having them.
Yeah.
From there, we can begin to gently shift our focus to something more positive and empowering.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's about giving ourselves permission to feel those emotions without getting stuck in them.
Exactly.
Kind of like acknowledging the storm without letting it capsize the boat.
Exactly. It's about developing a sense of self-compassion and recognizing that we're all works in progress.
Yeah.
And that leads us nicely into the next theme, which is all about celebrating achievements.
Yes. It's time to pat ourselves on the back for all the awesome things we've accomplished this year, big or small.
Yes.
I love how some of these prompts challenge us to redefine success, to move beyond those external markers of achievement and really consider what brings us a sense of fulfillment and purpose.
Right.
There's one that asks, which of your achievements this year felt most aligned with your values? Why?
Yeah.
I think it's such an important question to ask ourselves.
It is. It invites us to reflect on whether our actions are truly in sync with what matters most to us. And it encourages us to define success on our own terms rather than by society's standards.
Right. And it's not just about the big wins, right? I mean, sometimes just getting through a tough day or making a small step towards a goal is something to celebrate.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing our own efforts and progress, regardless of external validation. And it's about remembering that success isn't a linear path.
Right.
There will be setbacks and challenges along the way. The important thing is to keep moving forward, even if it's one small step at a time.
That reminds me of another prompt in this section that I really like.
Okay.
How did you balance hard work and rest to make your achievements possible? In our always-on culture, it's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget to take care of ourselves.
It is. We often feel pressured to constantly be productive and achieving, but sustainable success requires balance.
Yeah.
Rest and rejuvenation are essential for both our physical and mental well-being.
It's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
We need to make sure we're taking time to refill our own cup so we have something to give. And that leads us perfectly into the next theme, which is all about gratitude.
Ah, yes. This is one of my favorite themes because it encourages us to shift our focus to the positive aspects of our lives, even amidst challenges. It's about cultivating a sense of appreciation for what we have, rather than dwelling on what we lack.
So in this section, we've got prompts that encourage you to list 5 things you're most grateful for.
Okay.
Reflect on simple pleasures that brought you joy, and acknowledge a person who made your year better.
And what's remarkable is that gratitude isn't just about feeling good. There's a growing body of research suggesting that practicing gratitude can have tangible benefits for our mental and physical health.
Really? That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about that.
Well, studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude tend to experience lower levels of stress and anxiety, improve sleep quality, and even stronger immune systems.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm definitely starting to see why this theme is so important.
It's powerful stuff, and it's a practice that anyone can cultivate regardless of their circumstances.
So we've covered a lot of ground so far. Self-awareness, letting go, celebrating achievements, and gratitude. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on these themes so far? What's resonating with you most?
I'm struck by how interconnected these themes are. They all contribute to a deeper understanding of ourselves and a more mindful approach to life.
I completely agree. And it's not about achieving some kind of perfect state of being. It's about embracing the journey and continuously striving to learn and grow.
Yeah, it's like we're weaving a tapestry of self-discovery, using these prompts as threads to connect the different facets of our experiences.
That's such a beautiful analogy.
Yeah.
And it reminds me that self-reflection isn't just a solitary activity. It can also be a powerful tool for strengthening our relationships.
You're absolutely right. There's a prompt in the gratitude section that specifically asks you to reflect on a person who made your year better.
Oh, yeah.
This encourages us to acknowledge the people who enrich our lives and to express our appreciation for them.
It's so easy to take those relationships for granted, especially in the hustle and bustle of daily life. But taking the time to express our gratitude not only strengthens those bonds, but also reminds us of the importance of human connection.
It's a win-win, and it speaks to the broader theme of interconnectedness that runs throughout these prompts. We're not isolated individuals, we're part of a larger web of relationships and experiences.
That reminds me of another prompt that asks you to reflect on how you've contributed to your community this year.
Okay.
It's a reminder that our actions have ripple effects, and even small acts of kindness can make a difference.
It's about recognizing our own agency and the power we have to create positive change in the world around us. And it ties in beautifully with the final theme we'll be exploring, setting intentions for the new year.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
This is where we start to envision the kind of year we want to create for ourselves. Not by setting like rigid resolutions, but by setting a direction, a feeling, an overall vibe for the year ahead.
It's about aligning our actions with our values and aspirations, and creating a roadmap for a more fulfilling and purposeful year.
There are prompts that encourage you to reflect on the kind of energy or theme you want to bring into the new year, to write a letter to your future self, and even to redefine success on your own terms.
I'm particularly fond of the prompt that asks you to imagine your ideal day 1 year from now.
Oh, yeah.
It's a powerful exercise in visualization that helps you connect with your deepest desires and create a compelling vision for the future.
That's a great one. It's like creating a mental movie of your dream life, which can be incredibly motivating and inspiring.
It is. And it speaks to the importance of not just setting goals, but also connecting with the emotions we want to experience.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to achieve those goals? What kind of person do we want to become along the way?
That's such a key point. It's not just about checking things off a to-do list. It's about creating a life that feels aligned with our values and brings us a sense of joy and fulfillment.
And that brings us to one of the most powerful prompts in this entire collection, What is one thing you can do differently in the new year to create the life you truly desire?
Wow.
This prompt challenges us to move beyond wishful thinking and take concrete action towards our dreams.
It's about taking ownership of our choices and recognizing that we have the power to shape our own destinies.
And it's a reminder that even small changes can have a big impact over time. It's not about making drastic overnight transformations. It's about making conscious choices that align with our vision for the future.
I love how these prompts encourage us to approach the new year with a sense of intentionality and purpose. It's not about blindly following the same old routines or succumbing to societal pressures. It's about creating a life that feels authentic and meaningful to us.
It's about embracing the journey of self-discovery and recognizing that growth is an ongoing process.
So as we reflect on these 50 end-of-the-year journal prompts, what stands out to you the most? What are some key takeaways that our listeners can apply to their own lives?
For me, it's the reminder that self-reflection is an essential tool for personal growth and well-being. These prompts provide a framework for exploring our thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a deeper way.
I agree. It's about taking the time to pause, reflect, and connect with ourselves on a deeper level. And it's not just a year-end activity, it's something we can incorporate into our lives on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Whether it's through journaling meditation or simply taking a few moments each day to check in with ourselves, the key is to make self-reflection a priority.
And what about you? What has resonated with you most from our exploration of these prompts?
I've been particularly drawn to the prompts that encourage us to embrace vulnerability and to challenge our limiting beliefs. It's so easy to get stuck in patterns of thinking and behavior that no longer serve us. But these prompts invite us to step outside of our comfort zones and to explore new possibilities.
Yes, it's about recognizing that we're all works in progress, and that growth often comes from embracing discomfort and challenging ourselves to think differently.
It's about giving ourselves permission to be imperfect and to learn from our mistakes. And it's about recognizing that we have the power to create the life we truly desire, even if it's one small step at a time.
That's such an empowering message. And it reminds me of another prompt that asks, what limiting beliefs held you back this year? How can you release them moving forward? This prompt invites us to examine those deeply ingrained beliefs that might be preventing us from reaching our full potential.
Exactly. Sometimes we're not even aware of these limiting beliefs, but they can have a huge impact on our actions and choices.
So how do we even start to identify and challenge these limiting beliefs?
Self-awareness is key. Pay attention to the negative thoughts that pop up, especially when you're facing a new challenge. Ask yourself, is this thought based on facts or fear?
It's like becoming a detective of our own minds.
Right.
Once we've identified those limiting beliefs, what's the next step?
Challenge their validity. Ask yourself, is there evidence to support this belief? Often you'll find that these beliefs are based on assumptions rather than facts.
And then comes the really challenging part, actually releasing them. Do you have any tips for that?
Affirmations can be powerful tools for reprogramming our subconscious minds. Create positive statements that counteract those limiting beliefs and repeat them regularly.
It's like replacing those old negative tapes with new empowering ones.
Exactly. And remember, change takes time and effort. Be patient with yourself and celebrate every step you take toward breaking free from those limiting beliefs.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught in those negative thought loops. I know I've been there.
Yeah.
But it's encouraging to know that we have the power to change those patterns.
Absolutely. It's about taking those negative thoughts to court, so to speak,
Yeah.
and presenting evidence to the contrary. And as you start to challenge those limiting beliefs, you'll often find that they start to lose their grip on you.
That makes sense. It's like shining a light on those shadows and realizing they're not as scary as they seemed.
Precisely. And as we release those limiting beliefs, we create space for new possibilities and opportunities to emerge. It's like clearing out the clutter in our minds to make room for fresh perspectives and ideas.
Speaking of fresh perspectives,
Yeah.
let's circle back to the theme of gratitude. I know we touched on it earlier, but I'm really intrigued by the research you mentioned about the benefits of practicing gratitude.
Yes. It's a fascinating area of study. Researchers have found that gratitude can have a profound impact on our mental, emotional, and even physical well-being.
Really?
For example, there's a growing body of evidence suggesting that gratitude can help reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety, improve sleep quality, and boost our immune systems.
Wow. That's incredible. It's like gratitude is a superpower that we all have access to.
I love that analogy. And the best part is that it's a superpower we can cultivate through simple practices, like keeping a gratitude journal, expressing appreciation to others, or simply taking a few moments each day to notice and appreciate the good things in our lives.
There's one prompt in this section that I find particularly powerful.
Yeah.
It asks you to reflect on how gratitude helped you find peace during a challenging time this year. It's a reminder that even in the midst of difficulty, there's always something to be grateful for.
It is. And that's not to diminish the struggles we face in life. It's simply acknowledging that even in the darkest of times, there are often glimmers of light, moments of grace, and things to appreciate.
Yeah.
Gratitude helps us shift our focus away from what's missing and towards what we do have, even if it's something as simple as a warm bed, a roof over our heads, or a loving pet.
It's about finding those silver linings,
Yeah.
even when the clouds seem overwhelming. And I think that's such an important skill to cultivate, especially in today's world where we're constantly bombarded with negativity.
Absolutely. It's about training our minds to focus on the good, even when it feels challenging. And the more we practice gratitude, the easier it becomes to see the world through a lens of appreciation and abundance.
And I think that ties in beautifully with the final theme we've been exploring, setting intentions for the new year.
Yes. It's about taking all the insights we've gained through self-reflection and using them to create a roadmap for a more fulfilling and purposeful year ahead.
There's a prompt in this section that I absolutely love.
Okay.
It asks you to imagine your ideal day 1 year from now. It's such a powerful exercise in visualization, and it helps you connect with your deepest desires and create a compelling vision for the future.
It does. And it's not about creating a rigid plan or setting unrealistic expectations. It's about tapping into the emotions you want to experience and envisioning yourself living a life that feels aligned with your values and aspirations.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Lestallion's 50 end-of-year journal prompts, what are some key takeaways that our listeners can apply to their own lives?
I think the most important takeaway is that self-reflection is an essential tool for personal growth and well-being. These prompts provide a framework for exploring our thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a deeper way. But even if you don't use these specific prompts, the key is to make time for self-reflection on a regular basis.
I completely agree. Whether it's through journaling meditation or simply taking a few moments each day to check in with yourself, make self-reflection a priority. It's a gift you give yourself, a space for self-discovery and growth.
And remember, the journey of self-discovery is ongoing. There's always more to learn, more to explore, and more to become. Embrace the process, be patient with yourself, and celebrate every step you take toward becoming the best version of yourself.
That's such a beautiful sentiment. Well, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into 50 end-of-year journal prompts. We hope you found this exploration insightful and inspiring. And remember, you don't have to wait until the end of the year to start reflecting. These prompts can be revisited anytime you need a little clarity, a dose of inspiration, or a reminder of how far you've come.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep reflecting, and keep growing.
And keep diving deep.